Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nailed It Sports. My name is Caleb Nail. Thanks for tuning in on a Saturday. It's Saturday morning. Yes, I'm wearing a sweatshirt again. And in the morning, it's cold. But the sun, I'm a little late today, but the sun is in the perfect spot. It's going to blind me. You can join us on YouTube under Caleb Nail. That's the YouTube channel. You can listen on Spotify. Nailed It Sports. Nail as in N-A-L-E. I know I'm going to make it hard on you. Nailed It Sports. N-A-L-E-D. All right, welcome in. We got a lot to talk about today, so we're just going to get right started. Wow. All right, we're going to get started. But first, I want to share the verse of the day today. You can see it in the background if you're on YouTube. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. It's biblical. But I want to put it this way. We use it in context of sports, really the guys getting together and challenging each other. But I'd argue it is more so to sharpen you outside of areas of your physical activity, things like that, like sports, outside of sports. We really want to be around people that make us or that help us walk with Jesus, right? That are honest, share the truth with us. We can confess our sins to them and they are forgiving. They forgive us and they make us better people. I think that's what it really means by sharpening iron, as iron sharpens iron. So one person sharpens another. We need to be able to sharpen each other in the way that we can continue to walk with Jesus, know him, and worship him. So that's my challenge to you. You have a buddy or girlfriend, if you're a girl, that is struggling, sharpen them up. Be honest with them, be truthful, do it in a loving way, and let's all go walk with Jesus. If you don't know Jesus, let me know. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to talk to you about Jesus. He's always knocking. He would love to get to know you. And I could tell from personal experience, it is the greatest thing in life, living the abundant life with him. I like the peace and joy I have had the past 6 months, really going all in to walking with Jesus has been amazing. Absolutely love it. And I want you guys to experience that as well. All right, let's talk sports, shall we? He has blessed us with sports. It's very entertaining. So let's talk about it. That's what we're here for. Okay, I want to shout out 2 Central Valley guys. I'm sure I'm missing 3 Central Valley people. Taylor Ward hit the game-winning run in last night in the top of the 10th. Taylor Ward, Fresno State guy. Dylan Lee pitched a perfect inning against the Yankees in the 8th, and the Braves smoked the Yankees. I didn't look up Judge stats. They lost. Today we're going to be talking about the top G5 football games for this upcoming season. I think these are, and I picked them based on, they're going to have the most impact on who gets in that last conference champion spot. I want to talk about March Madness expansion because that was in the works, or there were meetings being held this past week. And then I do want to talk about the Fresno State AD situation, which if you listen to Beware Bulldogs, you will hear that spoken to at length on Monday. Monday at 7 p.m. We go live on YouTube and X. So we'll be talking about that. Oh, I also do want to shout out to Quentin Johnson, middle linebacker for the Fresno City Rams. He just committed to UCF. So big get for UCF. I like what UCF has got going on. I mean, they've had a great program the past couple of years. And now they're getting in. The team from Florida is now getting into the Central Valley and taking kids from our JUCO program. I love seeing their success. I hate seeing our kids taken elsewhere. I get it, though. We talked about that at length. If you've been listening, I didn't mention this last time, but if you listened before, you can tell the audio is different. I'm not in the car anymore, I'm talking through my phone. I got a mic. All right, top G5 football games. They're going to shape this upcoming college football season. I'm going to go from 5 to 1. I did rank them. 5, Miami, Ohio versus Toledo. Maction. Miami, Ohio, and Toledo both have great teams. Toledo, they won the MAC last year, I believe. And they always have a solid squad. But I think these are the two best teams in the MAC coming up this season. And depending on how the rest of their season goes, this could determine the champion of the MAC. I think 4, UTSA versus Texas State. Texas State's going to have a squad this year. Remember Texas State. Pay attention to them. They have a legit team this year. UTSA, they've had a great team the past couple of years, and they're going to be good again. And so I'm going to stay in the American here with Memphis versus Tulane. Memphis is being talked about as the one of the top G5 schools. A lot of people picking them to represent that last conference champion in the playoff. Well, they're going to have to get through Tulane. They play UTSA as well. They play a tough schedule. And that's why I'm not picking Memphis to represent that last conference, because it's killer. That schedule's killer. I don't know if they can make it through. Memphis, Tulane, and I think that's a huge game for Tulane, because Tulane, as you all know, has been a great team the past couple of years. Now they lose their quarterback. They lose Spears, their running back. They lost a couple defensive players. We'll see if they can replace them. But they're going to have a great team. The culture there is great. So if they can get through Memphis, if they beat Memphis and they get through the rest of their schedule or conference schedule and win the American, now we're going to be talking about Tulane. So that Memphis-Tulane game's huge. I think number 2, Boise State, UNLV. Hurts me to put that down, but it's true. We need to accept the fact here in the Central Valley that Boise State, preseason-wise, is looking like a very good team. Memphis and Boise State, the top 2 teams that people are picking to represent that last conference champion. And in a way, I'm really hoping that there's 2, maybe even 3 undefeated G5 conference champions. Maybe not undefeated, but undefeated / 1 loss, so that they make the decision really hard. Because I'm a firm believer in, if you win your conference and you're considered Division I, you should have a shot at playing for the national championship. You can't change my mind about that. But Boise State, UNLV is going to have a good team this year. They've been getting better. I think these are 2 teams that Fresno State's going to have to look out for. Fortunately, we don't play Boise, so we get to avoid them, but we do get UNLV on the schedule. But Boise State, they had a big-time transfer from at the quarterback position from USC. I believe 5-star Ashton Jeanty, in my opinion, the top running back in the nation. And they always have a solid defense. They're going to be tough to stop. And then UNLV, they did lose their quarterback, but I love their coach. That was one of the things I was wrong on. I shouldn't necessarily say wrong. I just didn't like the fact that they got rid of their coach the way they did and then brought in this guy. But it's worked out for them, so you can't argue with it. They knew what they were doing. And then the number 1 G5 game that's going to affect the entire season and more than just the G5. The Power 5 as well is Liberty versus App State. Huge game. Liberty, undefeated last year, did get smoked in their bowl game. We knew it was going to happen. But Liberty has the easiest schedule. The easiest schedule in the country. App State is a tough team. Always. Every year. They're going to fight for this last spot. Liberty and App State are not in the same conference, but they are both G5. And the winner of this game will likely go on, in my opinion, to represent the G5. Unless Boise, Fresno State, UNLV, or you have like a Memphis or Tulane go undefeated. And that's where I think if you have Liberty or App State go undefeated, win their conference, along with someone else from the Mountain West or American, we're going to put the committee in a tough spot. And that's what I want. I want to put them in a tough spot. Liberty returns a lot of their players from last year. Once again, last year, they didn't play a tough schedule either. I do like their quarterback. I believe it's Salter. Very athletic. Can run the ball well. Can improve throwing, of course. But they do a great job there. And Liberty just improved their facilities. They're doing a great job recruiting. I mean, Liberty's doing it right. App State does it right. Those guys are tough. They remind me a lot of Fresno State. And they've been pumping out big-time football players. Tough. Looking forward to this Liberty App State game. It's played earlier in the year, so we're going to have an idea of where each team stands. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we got Liberty versus App State, Boise State, UNLV, Memphis, Tulane, UTSA, Texas State, Miami, Ohio versus Toledo. I kept the games within the G5 on G5, because if I wasn't, Fresno State would have been on here. Fresno State versus Michigan. I think that's a huge week 1 matchup. Since I brought it up, Michigan, they had a lot to replace. Coach, O-line, quarterback, really good running back. Donovan Edwards, of course, is there. A lot of defensive players. We're catching them at the right time. This is a huge game for Fresno. Huge. I think that's one of the top G5 versus P5 games in the country. Easy. But G5 football games where they're playing each other, they didn't quite make the list. Who knows, though? These games, that list will change weekly, I'm sure. And we will be talking college football all year long, so don't worry. I'm a big college sports guy in general. I want to give a big shout out to Coach Overland at Fresno State. They held a baseball camp with over 130 Bulldog campers. That's what it's all about. I love to see kids from everywhere. This is how you get kids excited about Fresno. Right? We know, being from the Central Valley, if you're from the Central Valley, we know what people say about the Central Valley. You want to get people fired up for Fresno State, get them out to games, you hold camps like this. I know basketball has struggled in the past couple of years. Baseball, they've been doing great. And this camp was awesome. So big shout out to you guys. All right, let's move on to March Madness. So if you have not heard, the committee wants to expand from 68, and the proposal is to either 72 or 76 teams in March Madness. So they went from 64. They added the 4 more teams, the play-in games. You're part of the tournament, in my opinion. So now we're at 68. Now they're thinking about adding 4 more, maybe 8 more. And my thought on this is, I don't mind. I don't mind this at all. I actually, and I can't believe I'm saying this, like it. If they expand to 72, that's where you should cap it at. I think 72 is good. We had last year, you had teams like Indiana State get left out for Virginia, who had no good wins, get smoked by Colorado State. Now, Colorado State didn't win their next game, but it wasn't competitive. Colorado State, Virginia was not competitive at all, and Virginia didn't do enough on the court to deserve being in. Indiana State did. Right? And also, I think another reason why you should expand to 72 is because the NIT changed the rules for who they take. Right? It used to be if you win your regular season, but you do not win the conference tournament, we'll take you. Right? So if Fresno State won the Mountain West regular season, but then ended up losing in the first or second round of Mountain West tournament, they would get into the NIT because they won the regular season. Well, they changed that this past year to where that's not the case. They're just going to take the best teams, who they think the best teams are. Well, I don't like that. You are changing what the regular season means. It almost means nothing. So I think expanding to 72, now you're going to grab Indiana State, who deserve to be in. The other bubble teams, like a Seton Hall, I believe it was St. Joseph's, was whoever Pitino was. St. Joseph's. Pitino's coach. Those teams are going to get in. And I think that's good for college basketball. One of the things I wanted to share with you guys that I thought was very interesting is I went through and I looked up the percentage of teams that get into postseasons. Professionally, you probably understand that it's most of the teams. So in the NFL, 43% of NFL teams get into the postseason, 53% of NBA teams, 40% of MLB teams, which I like it right around 40%, and 50% of NHL. So you have half to over half of the teams make the NHL and NBA, and then you're right at 43 for NFL and 40 for MLB. I did the World Cup. I looked at how many nations there are that actually play soccer and are considered, and they're in the FIFA, that federation, to qualify for the World Cup. And by the way, the World Cup is expanding now, which I'm not a fan of. But with the expansion, 22% of all FIFA teams, countries, make it to the World Cup. So way lower, 20% less, 22% to the World Cup. 21% of Division I college baseball teams make the postseason. And I believe that's 68 teams. I believe it's 64 teams make the College World Series. Here we are in college basketball. 19% of Division I college basketball teams make the postseason, make the March Madness, I should say. That's not taking into account the NIT, what is it, the CBI. Only 19%. And then the lowest is with the expanded playoff for college football, 12 team, only 9% of college football, Division I college football teams make the postseason. I think you have to expand with 19%, back to basketball, 19%, let's round up. 20% of Division I college basketball teams making the postseason. And we know how basketball is. It's one game, right? This is not a 7-game series like the NBA. This is one game. Anything can happen. One kid can go off. Jack Golke, for example. And you win one game, 2 games. With only 20%, I don't think you have a fair representation of what is out there. 4 teams is not going to hurt anybody. It's not. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It can hurt college basketball if they expand to put in bigger teams, right? Power 4 teams, Power 5 teams. If they don't take the Indiana States, then they're going to really hurt the sport and scare people away. But I think it's time to expand March Madness. I think it would be a lot of fun. and it's not going to hurt anything. All right. Real quick before I touch on the NHL finals, I want to touch on City County football. City County All-Star game, a football All-Star game, was last night. County won, and they aired it on YouTube on NorCal Sports TV. But as you all probably were, if you didn't make it out, you're busy, you're doing something, taking care of family, weren't able to make it out. I should say County won 35-7. And so I was watching last night, trying to catch up on the game on NorCal Sports TV on YouTube. He did stream it. I didn't, the rosters were posted, so I looked through the rosters. I knew who was playing. But you couldn't keep up on the call, then on this live stream. Names were not being shared, stats were not being shared. It was hard to keep up with what was going on. There's a lot of players in there, and during and after the game, it is Saturday, almost 6:30, and nothing is out. No stats are out. The only thing I know, and this is from watching the game in my notes, is that Central Grizzlies quarterback David Marquez looked pretty good, and I would say he was the MVP. He scored the first touchdown. He scrambled outside, ran for 42 yards. He had a touchdown pass. The Central kids looked really good on County, and I believe that is County. County has not lost since 2019. I'm a County guy. Let's go County. Congrats. And congrats to all the boys that made it. Those kids will remember that. I am a big proponent of all-star games. You get to meet kids from all over the Valley. And I think that it's one thing we need to do a better job of in the Valley. Look, you're one person away in the Valley. From anyone in the Valley, you're one person away. And when I was growing up, I was told, make sure you befriend your teammates and, most importantly, your opponents, because you will be doing business with them. You may become best friends with them later on in life. And I thought my dad was crazy for telling me that. Well, years later, when I'm getting married, standing right next to me was basically my rival in high school basketball. We ran into each other at college, had class together. Now he's the godfather to my son. So, and we played in the All-Star game together. I think it's really important that I played an All-Star game, basketball game, met some guys that knew my grandfather. We do business with them. It's going to happen. I think we need more of it. And I want to give the kids credit. And right now I guess I'll do it. I guess I started this, Nailed It Sports, because I thought the Central Valley deserves a sports show. And look, I'm not good. I'm getting better. Right. So tell me, I got some feedback from the first one. So thank you. And what you guys want to hear, I got some feedback there. So we're putting together some bullet points for how the show's going to look as we go on and progress. So thank you guys for doing that. But I really want there to be something for high school like I had, in the Fresno Bee. Remember, coach would use this on me all the time. Look, you score a layup, you score a free throw, your name is put in the Fresno Bee for the entire Valley to see. Well, the Fresno Bee's not around anymore, paper-wise, physically. So what are our kids looking forward to? Is there anything like that? There was no box score, no stats that I could find. I spent 30 minutes looking for the city county box score /stats. So maybe we need to do it. I'm gonna sit down and think about this and see what we can do. All right. Now I'll call some people. Let me know. Message me. I'm on X, Caleb _Nail, NALE. DM me there. Let's put something together. All right. But big congrats to all the City County All-Stars. I saw City County softball was going on the other day. Congrats to those girls. Let's finish real quick with NHL Finals. We could talk about Euros and Copa America. Big game for United States tomorrow against Bolivia. Make sure you tune into that. We talked about it on Thursday, with culture and around soccer and the nation's teams. Euros has been a lot of fun. Argentina played Canada in Copa America, and Canada was competitive. I believe they lost 2-0. Probably should have lost by more, but Canada's got a squad. Watch out. Not a Canada fan, but anyways, NHL Finals. Oilers won again last night. They win 3 in a row, tie the series at 3. We're heading to game 7, and Oilers won 5-1 last night. Complete flip. And this has been an extremely entertaining NHL Finals. I don't know if you knew this, but this is the first finals in NBA, MLB, in a 7-game series to go to 7 since COVID. Florida looked like they were going to win it. Easy. Up 3-0. No momentum for Edmonton. Complete opposite now. The Oilers cannot be stopped. I mean, they are scoring with ease. Florida can't do anything. Florida looks dead in the water. They look slow, and Edmonton's thing is speed. And speed kills. We know that. And it is killing Florida right now. But we could have said the same thing about Florida earlier, 3 games ago, after they had won 3 straight. Edmonton looked dead. There's no way they're coming back. And here we are. So now I got to be careful what I say. 0-0. We've had 6 games to watch. It's been so fun. If you don't watch hockey, I highly recommend getting into hockey. Hockey is fast-paced, physical. I mean, it's everything you want in a sport. And the guys are athletic as heck. I don't know how, after watching the past 3 games, it is really hard to pick Florida. There's recency bias. I definitely have recency bias all the time. After game 3, I would have told you Florida's winning. Easy. After game 6, I'm telling you right now, Edmonton's winning. Easy. I do think Edmonton, they made a roster change. They switched up some lines, and this is what has happened. They've gone crazy. And for that reason, I think they win. Since making that change, that they've been unstoppable. But we'll see. Maybe Florida can wake up, get going. Both teams are getting up for this game. This would be very embarrassing for Florida. I don't think a Canadian team has won the NHL Stanley Cup in over 30 years. So this would be big for the Canadian teams. You know me. I'm cheering for Florida. We can't let these Canadian teams win our leagues. Connor McDavid is legit. He's legit. He's a lot of fun to watch. Oilers player. Currently, as it stands in the Travelers Championship, Morikawa 11 under, Scotty 11 under, Batia 11 under, Chase and Kim at 13 under. All right. Other than that, guys, I don't have anything else for you. Quick one today. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great time. I remember going back to the beginning of the episode. So one person sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. Let's be honest and loving and spread the truth. The truth. Not your truth, not my truth, but the truth that was brought to the world by Jesus Christ with one another. Let's keep each other strong. Let's hold each other accountable. Hold me accountable. We got some things from you guys for the show, like what you want to hear and things like that. We're going to start all that next week. DM me on X, Caleb_Nail, with what you want to hear, what you want to talk about. I'm going to do more high school stuff for the Central Valley. I think that's what we deserve. And then, we will get into bigger headlines on the professional side and college. I'm a big college football, basketball guy, so we're going to spend a lot of time there as well. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Jesus loves you. Have a wonderful weekend. See ya.